Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are joining us. This is Joyful Joints coming to you from Pranabar in Carmel, Indiana. And my name's Paula, if you're curious. We are here to help our bodies feel more comfortable and be more efficient and effective in their functioning so that we're not bogged down by pain and slowness and heaviness, but we feel as good as we can in our body. That's what leads us to more joy in our life. So maybe not a direct path. It might take a little swirls to get there, but we're aiming in the right direction, and we're glad you're here to join us for this class. We are in our second month of our live streams, and these classes will remain available for anyone, anytime, to come back and to practice throughout the week, throughout the month, whenever the mood strikes you. Hopefully that's more often than not. But really our goal is that as we go through these classes, you will find things where you just go, aha, wow, when I do that one simple thing, my body feels better. And you'll catch yourself in your daily life going along and perhaps practicing one of your eye drills just naturally without having to put too much effort toward us. So it's the purpose of Joyful Joints, just to simply help the world feel better in their bodies, and then as a side effect, become more joyful in the process. All right, so today, this month, we are in our month of it's November here. It doesn't really matter what month it is when you're practicing. We're going to begin focusing on our torso, and in particular this month, the upper torso. So within that, we have a lot of structures. Skeletally, we have a rib cage. We have what we call our thoracic spine, or the part of the spine that connects with the rib cage. That's what that's called, thoracic spine. We have the shoulder girdle, which are the structures that allow our arms to move independently of the rib cage. So this area, this upper torso, is also the area which has, let's say, structurally the least amount of mobility in general, and it also tends to be the area which stiffens up the most. It's the easiest area to get stiff. So we're going to play around with different movements, different ways of working with our upper torso, and let's see if we can unlock some motion. Are you up for that? Awesome. So welcome to those of you who do make it in here live. It's so exciting. When you become a subscriber, then you will have access to say hello in the chat, to send us little thumbs up, let us know how you're feeling, how you're doing as we go along. So number one, we sit in our chair for Joyful Joints, and we always start with, what are we going to be reassessing for today? If this isn't something you understand, please go back and watch the first month's episodes so you have a better idea. But today we're going to assess, how do we feel when we are moving our torso? And the two things we're going to check in, I'm actually going to scoot up to the front edge of my chair. So you want to be in a chair that's pretty solid. It's not going to slide around on you. Your feet can reach the floor easily. Mine is just a simple plastic chair, very solid base, a nice solid back. And when I sit in it, when I sit all the way back, I'm having a 90-degree angle as close as possible. Okay? So we are going to sit up toward the front edge of our chair. This is just to check and see how it feels. How does it feel when you rotate your torso? You rotate your upper torso. A lot of people are going to feel, ooh, my lower back doesn't like that. Okay? If you're not sure what it feels like when you're seated, try it standing. Check in. How does it feel to make these rotations? Okay? Notice where you might feel discomfort or resistance. What if we take it a little slower? You rotate to one side and you're like, okay, that's how far I can go. Kind of make note, observe it objectively. Do not make a judgment about how good it is or what a bad person you are because you can't rotate, right? Just rotate that torso and objectively observe, how far can you go? What does it feel like when you're doing that? Okay? This is an area that I work on a lot. I used to have like about zero ability to rotate through my rib cage. And over time and with lots of consistent practice, that's opening up. So it's exciting. All right, so do you have an idea how your rib cage is doing? Super. The next thing we'll do is a quick review from last month. So simply rest your body back against the back of your chair, pick up your focal pointer. Does everybody have their focal pointer handy? Yes, it could be a pencil with an eraser. Mine has this cute little hand holding up its index finger. If you don't have anything, quickly grab your thumb and you can use your thumbnail as your focal pointer. So let's do a few pencil push-ups, drawing this focal pointer in. You touch your nose, you squeeze your eyes and focus both of them so they're like crossing to try to see that point that's close to you. And then slowly take it away and make sure you stay watching it. Stay watching that focal point all the way back out. Again, bring it in. Squeeze your eyeballs so that they're both of my eyes are trying to look at this point. Slowly take it away. You may objectively observe how easy or difficult is this for you today. Now this can change hourly, you guys. So your first time in the morning, it might be really, really difficult. But then after a couple hours of being awake, it's like, oh, okay, now it's easy. Let's switch hands and do 3 more, please. Draw it in. And then you might check again 2 hours later after you've sat and done computer work and realize, oh my gosh, it's really hard again for me to cross my eyes and stay focused on this one point. One more time. What's important is that we continue to exercise our eyes so that they can do this. They can do these eye push-ups or pencil push-ups during the day. And when we're feeling like it's difficult, we know it's time to take a break. It's time to give our body, give our nervous system some love, pull out our joyful joints, and just pause, rejuvenate for a moment. Okay. So there was our pencil push-ups exercise or our convergence drill for the eyes. You remember from last month, it's time to reassess. What are we reassessing today? Our rotation. So wherever you really marked yourself, I'm going to do mine with the slow rotation. That feels a little bit more open, a little bit more easy. Definitely, for me, it's easier to rotate to the right than it is to the left. And we'll bring it back. But it did feel like I had a little more power in my rotation. So score yourself. Was it better? Was it the same? Was it worse? Those are things you want to make note of for yourself. So by the end of going through class, you will have 1 or 2 items that really made your nervous system say, yeah, I loved it. Okay, very good. So let's go directly now into working on our chest. And I'm going to ask us to have one more thing to reassess. One more to reassess, and we're going to do our head rotation. Okay, so again, sit back against the back of your chair. And then we're only going to move our head. So I'd like for you to try, just turn your head in one direction. How far does it go? Are there restrictions? Where does it stop? And then come back to the center. Other direction, rotate your head. Some of us out there are saying, man, my neck is crunchy, or it gets stuck, it won't go very far. And then back to the center. Let's do that one more time. This is an assessment, not an exercise right now. How does your head feel turning right? And how does your head feel turning left? Give yourself some very specific sensations to come back to. Okay? All right, now we're going to work on our rib cage. So let's go ahead and sit up off of the back of the chair again. So we got a lot of forward and backward movement today, don't we? And I'd like for you to consider what is directly in the center of your upper torso. There's an organ there, and we call it our heart. Okay, so you don't have to picture the exact shape of a heart. Let's just imagine this point in the center Maybe it's even the center point of your physical heart. Just picture where that is and find that as our anchor point. Okay? Beautiful. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be rotating our chest. We're going to be rotating our chest. I want you to put your fingertips somewhere on or near your shoulders. I know some of us, to bend our elbows like that is difficult. So do your best to have your hands close to your shoulders. And then I want you to think about that center point that is your heart and imagine it starting the rotation. Okay, this is going to require some visualization today. Think about what if your centered heart started rotating to the right. It's like the engine or the inception, there you go, of my rotation. And as that little center of my heart is rotating, it's going to pull everything else with it. So my heart is rotating. My lungs are coming around the heart. And that brings my rib cage along for the ride. And it's going to go how far? My goodness. And then we're going to pause. And then our heart is going to come back to the center. It's going to, from that center point, rotate back and unwind. Okay, let's do that again. From the center of the heart, imagine that little point starting to turn to your left. It's turning to your left. And as it turns, as the heart turns, it draws the lungs with it. And then it draws the rib cage and all of the musculature. That's right. And as that rib cage is pulled along, my thoracic spine is getting this beautiful spiral shape to it. And we just keep sensing that heart continuing to drive us around. And then we unwind it back to the center. Okay? Now, I understand that a lot of things that we introduce in Joyful Joints are like, wow, I've never thought of that before. How do I know that? I've been teaching this for a very long time, and I get to watch people's reactions. And somehow they're very often similar. So let's do something which will give us an idea what it's like not to start from the center to make the rotation. What would it be like if I took my arms? Okay, so we're going to do one that I don't want you to practice, but I want you to feel the contrast. Throw your arms in the direction and then try to pull your rib cage around with you. Do you see that? Throw the arms and pull the rib cage with you. And notice, how does that feel? I get little twinge in my shoulder, my neck. My hips start wiggling around on the chair more. Try the other direction. Throw your arms and try to pull yourself with your arms. And go further, okay? Pull, twist. Again, it feels disjointed and not so comfortable to me. How does it feel to you? Now, let's go back and do the first way. The back, led from the heart. The heart is the engine. It's the start of the rotation. And it's okay to close your eyes. You'll notice me closing my eyes sometimes. That's just so that I'm not distracted by the outer world. And I can put myself and I can just kind of try to visualize and imagine what it's like for my heart to turn and for it to pull my lungs and for that to pull my ribs from the inside. I'm able to keep my hips more quiet on this chair as I do that. And when that happens, I feel this lovely power band right around where my diaphragm lives. Did you catch that? So where we're sitting on the chair, we don't want to have wiggles going on. So if you can think about that in your brain also, do it. If this is too much, then don't worry about what the hips are doing. Let's get back to our heart. Rotate it the other direction. My heart is rotating. My lower torso is just sitting still. There we go. And there might be some effort to keep that lower torso still. Boy, do I go further this time. Amazing. And then bring it back. Okay, we're going to practice one more time. The heart turns, the lungs. I stay seated, trying not to wiggle. My lower torso is quiet. My upper torso is being driven around by my heart spinning. And we come back. Last one. I don't know about you guys. I'm like, my breath even, right? Rotate that heart. There's a reason for that. We are stretching and giving the diaphragm some love. Asking our diaphragm to move in ways that maybe hasn't for a while. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Turn that heart just a little stronger. And then come back to the center. Woo! Okay. Wow. Take a deep breath. Maybe you're noticing already like, wow, all of a sudden I took a deep breath. That's something that we can use as a reassessment. It's a surprise reassessment, but one that showed up for us. So let's go back. Sitting against the back of your chair, let's reassess that head turn now, please. So without thinking too much, turn your head to the right. How does it feel? If it feels the same, but your head turned farther, then that's a positive. Come back to the center. We're not just trying to get rid of all feeling, all right? And there are times when we're going to move further and feel the same discomfort. Our goal is to feel more comfortable through a greater range of motion. There we go. Turn your head the other direction to the left. And I am fully aware that I have unlocked more ability to rotate my head in each direction. And it feels really nice, actually. Okay. So, well, that feels really good. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'd love for you guys to see the fact that even if you practice this and you understand it, I take breaks, not intentionally. And I have not worked on this level of rotation in my torso for a while. So it feels lovely to reconnect with it. And this is what you'll be able to do over time as well. All right, so let's do another exercise and a different reassess. So we did last month the reassess where we raise our arm and we see how far down our back we can reach, or you take the other arm and see how far up it can reach. So I'm doing both at the same time, making note of how close together are my fingers in the back, how tight is my tricep right here, yeah. How much impingement do I feel in my shoulder on that lower arm? Those are all sensations that I have. I'm going to give them a number. Let's try the other side. Reach up, reach down your back. Take the other arm, reach up the back. Instantly, I know that this side has more restrictions. I feel more pull on the back of my arm here. I feel more of my kind of tricky restriction in this shoulder. Okay, so we have our new assessment. If that feels weird to you, you can always go back and reassess your head turn after this next exercise. So we're going to go back to the center of our chest awareness. Not only the front center of your chest, but there's a back center of your chest as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn my chair sideways, so maybe you'll be able to see and understand this. So we have a front heart area. Imagine it like a lighthouse. I'm shining a light out from my heart to the front of my body. But also in the lighthouse, there's a backlight. So around the back of my heart, there's a light shining directly 180 degrees opposite. Make sense? So front heart, back heart. What we're going to do is we're going to take that front heart light and we are going to open it. Front heart. Everybody touch your front heart as compared to down here where there's the rib cage ends, the sternum ends, and there's softness. We call that our solar plexus area. When you open your front heart, I would prefer that you keep this area closed. Don't flop it out. Do you see the difference? I opened that light up. I want this light to stay closed. I want this upper light to try to open. Now, what happens, can you tell, as you open the front heart? Maybe let your arms relax, your shoulders relax. What's happening to the back light? It's closing, right? The lens is closing on the back. My front heart is wide open, my back heart is closing. Okay, let's go the other direction now. I'm going to take that front heart light and close it in. Close it in. That's it. What's happening on the back side? That back heart light is opening up. You may rest your hands on your lap if that's more comfortable. Once again, we are not collapsing down at the solar plexus. That's different. I want you to stay tall through your lower torso. Yes. And let the upper torso do all of the moving. Tricky. You're going to come back to this class over and over again to try to figure it out. Here we go. Open the front heart, close the back one. Arms can drop as long as you're relaxing your shoulders and focus on your heart. If you don't know where it is, touch it, tap it, feel it opening. Good. Other direction. Close the front heart. Open the back heart more. Again, try not to let your head fall down. Keep tall in your spine. We're only closing the front heart, opening the back heart. Keep tall in your spine. Good. Reverse. Open the front heart, close the back one. Sometimes if we drop our arms, rotate our palms out, we can get into that back heart a little more. I love to let go of my solar plexus. So anybody who wants to really analyze this video and see how well I'm doing, probably gonna find mistakes, but it's about trying, right? That's what Joyful Joints is about, not gaining perfection, but moving towards something that is better. Good. There's an infinite number of steps we can make in the direction of better. Beautiful. You guys got one more available. Here we go. Open the front heart, close the back. Add the arms if you wish, or leave them on your lap. Stay tall in your spine. I don't want my solar plexus again. Other direction. Close the front heart, open the back. Really open that back leg big. Big. Don't throw your head down to the floor. Keep tall in your spine. Just, open the back of your body. It's almost like what a cobra does, opening that back hood. My legs are working really hard to try to make this happen and stay tall and not just drop down. Okay, and release. Woo, come back up to vertical. All right. So, led from the heart, we did rotations and we did contract and extend. Let's do reassess. What are you going to reassess? How about we go right back to the arms? I'm going to go to my more challenging one, and it is at least 50% better. In fact, the tightness here is almost gone. And this restriction doesn't have like the pain level with it. So at least 50% better for me. And that would show up in other areas. That might show up in your head turn. It might show up in your rotation. It's up to you to do the reassess and to objectively observe. Good. I'm like a cheerleader. I love cheerleading myself for all the little things when they feel better, because I was in a state of not really able to move very well at all. And so every little teeny tiny step is a big one along the way. That counts even when you are not in a state of inability to move, okay? If you pay attention to these things, even when you're doing well, then we just have this unlimited amount of possibilities of feeling good. Oh, that feels so nice. Let's do one more. Now that we know and we're aware of what our rib cage can do, we'll talk and we'll come to this more next week, but let's do something kind for our shoulders. I want you to find your collarbones, so touch them. As I'm sitting here looking at myself on the camera, I notice that one finger is lower than the other finger. So my body obviously has a imbalance going on, okay? I'm kind of aware of that. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just noticing and objectively observing it. So we're going to take these collarbones. Can you trace them with your finger? Ideally, your collarbones face more to the sides. If we've got a lot of tension in the neck and a forward head position, your collarbones you might find are pointing more back toward the back of your head. Okay, not excited about that. So let's take these collarbones and I want you to drive them forward. Take your collarbones, push them forward. What does that look from the side? Let me turn the other direction now. Collarbones moving forward. So I'm trying to get these level with my chin. Now I'm not knocking my chin down. I'm still tall. Just collarbones forward. Now push your collarbones backward. Your collarbones go forward. Your collarbones go backward. Now be aware as you're doing this motion, your heart, your upper rib cage is moving nowhere. Your collarbones move independently of your rib cage. At least that's what they are designed to do. So we're trying to recover some of this motion that we were designed for. Now, the next time your collarbones come forward, leave them there. And then I want you to pick your collarbones up toward your chin. Your collarbones are connected at your shoulder joint. So yes, your shoulders are coming up, but I don't want you to drive up with your shoulders. I want you to try to lift from this collarbone, the whole thing, and then put the whole thing down. Very good. Collarbones forward and up. That's right, and down. Why is my finger still there? I want to make sure my whole collarbone is coming up with me. And I'm not just shrugging my shoulders and leaving this part down. You see the difference? I pinched my neck. 2 more. Lift the collarbones up toward your chin. Put them back down. And 1 more time. Lift the collarbones up toward your chin. Put them back down. I am right now feeling a whole lot of warmth coming through my neck. Woo! Like a lot of warmth. So we may have done a little bit of vagus nerve toning along the way with that exercise. That'd be a good thing. And let's finish up with our final assessment or recheck. So how is that head turn going? Woo. Smooth like butter. And then let's check. I like checking my arms. Oh my goodness. No pain here, guys. No pain. Wow. 2. Oh, good. We got a me too. Yeah, way to go. Yay, double thumbs up. We love that exercise. So perhaps then on my remembering list, I need to put my collarbone lifts into my list for every single day. I need to practice that. And let's see, if we put our fingers back, I still have one a little bit higher than the other. So still have something that we could be looking at to improve upon. Why don't we go back and finally check our rotation, that rotation of your rib cage. Maybe it doesn't go any further or doesn't feel any different, but maybe it makes more sense. Maybe the idea of rotating just our rib cage and not our pelvis, actually that's what I'm noticing too. I was having to work hard not to move my lower torso. In this round, I'm not having to work at all to keep my lower torso still. Wow. Okay, so you'll hear me saying a lot of observations around my own body. You don't have to be at that level of understanding. You just have to realize that's what it sounds like to observe. This is what I observed. This was the exercise that gave me the double thumbs up. I'm putting it on my list. If you happen to end with an exercise that gives you a thumbs down, let's say we came back to redo this and it was worse than it was previously, then you should have a different exercise either from a previous class that you can go back and you do, right? So perhaps your pencil push-ups are an exercise that consistently makes your nervous system happy. If you end on a down note, always go back and do one of those exercises, okay? That's it, you guys. It's so simple. It's so short. There's only one thing you have to do in order to feel better in your body, and that's push play on Joyful Joints every week. You guys up for it? I'm so glad to meet you guys, and we will look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Thank you.